Okay. So, David, tell me, what do you know about space-time?
Uh, all I know is that they Einstein thinks that space and time are like continuum or something like that. Like they're kind of intertwined.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, generally when I'm explaining space-time, what I like to say is take all your preconceived notions of time and space and just throw it out the window.
Right? Throw it out the window. What do you mean by that though? Right? Why would I want to do that or need to do that?
Well, that's because growing up, we're taught that time flows in one direction. You got point
Mm-hmm.
A and point B.
Mm-hmm.
But once you learn the broader spectrum of things, time is more like this. Everything intersecting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Okay.
The biggest being that with humans being the way we are, an easy way to explain this is you have timeline A1, A2, A3, ending in B1, B2, B3. And we perceive each of these as separate timelines. So, like, this could be the timeline where the one we currently live in. This could be the timeline where somebody went back in time and killed Hitler. And this could be the timeline where Hitler won. But the thing about all of that is that they all occur at the same time.
All right.
And they all influence each other. So, like you said earlier, everything is connected. That doesn't just go through time and space, that goes through every dimension, every reality, anything. Because when you get down to the basics of time, it's just all perception, right?
So you're saying that if one thing happened, so like for example, if in one timeline it was like April 13th, like 2:30,
Uh huh.
and I did something and I'm like 18 at the time. And in another timeline I did the exact same thing but I'm 17 at the same time. It's like happening at the same time
Yep, they happen at the same time.
even if I'm younger and older than one time.
Yep.
Okay. How does that work? I know you just explained it, but like,
um, the way it works is because everything is connected.
okay. I'm starting to get it now. Better.
Yeah, so um, this would go a little bit into quantum entanglement, which I want to do a separate video on because it's a massive, massive topic. But the basics of that is you have an atom, say in New Jersey and you have an atom over in our sister galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have somebody, they touch it or they interact with it. Whatever they do to that atom happens to this atom the exact same time across thousands of light years. It is influenced the exact same way.
That is kind of mind blowing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep, because everything is connected.
Is there like a way you could go even more into depth than that, or like is that like the most simple way you can explain it?
Um, the simplest way to explain it would be basically the butterfly effect, in a
Okay.
sense. So, a butterfly flapping its wings causes something on the other side of the planet to happen. Now, terrestrially, that would be like cause and effect, going down a chain of events.
Mm-hmm.
But quantum entanglement is you're taking that chain of events and you're compressing it down into a single point. And at that point, it causes the interaction between the two atoms because it's all
Okay.
compressed.
Okay. That makes more sense now.
Yeah. Einstein liked to view space as like a fiber mesh. We have this fiber mesh right here. Oops. And then you have, say, for example, Earth.
Mm-hmm.
When you put Earth on it, it curves. That's why when you see like a black hole, for example, you'll see the light going around the black hole, and it's being dis what's the word I'm looking for? Deformed around the center,
Mm.
so that you have light going this way, and it interacts with that dip, and it gets slingshot
Okay.
because that mesh is part of everything. You're just taking everything that's connected and you're just pushing it, and then everything follows that mesh. Because if you take a trampoline and you push down on it, and you take like a marble or something, it'll go around until it meets the lowest point. That's the kind of analogy he was going for.
Mm-hmm.
So if everything always exists together on that mesh, then space time is the mesh.
Okay. So there's like there's also another theory that's like if you also reach the same basically almost the same speed of light, time will also slow down for you.
Yes. Yes.
Could you like give a more in-depth thing of like the reason why?
So as your speed increases, your perception of time also morphs with that speed. So, uh, easiest example would be if you're going 100 miles on the freeway, 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Not only will you get to your destination quicker, but time would have slowed down for you to a certain extent. Um, there's this movie, I don't remember what it was called, but basically this guy was going into space to try and go to um, a possible habitable planet similar to Earth, and
Mm-hmm.
they landed on this one planet that they were in the orbit of the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once they brought the shuttle down, they realized that gravity on the planet was so much higher than on Earth. And the reason for that was because with Earth, it spins at a constant rate of, uh, I believe it's 9.83 meters per second.
Mm-hmm.
But on this planet, it's how fast it was rotating was about 8 times that, I believe.
And
So while they were on the ship, time progressed naturally for them. But then once they landed, they were there for probably 10 minutes. They got caught up in the tide. And once they finally made it back to the shuttle, I got back onto the ship. Several days had passed.
that is actually crazy.
Yeah, because even though time felt like it was flowing naturally for them while they were there, they were under the influence of the planet, whereas the spaceship was not under the influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. Mm. Trying to process that.
Yeah. Yeah, so as you reach as you go faster, your perception changes. Like like a fly. Flies live for like 5 days tops. And for us, that's just 5 days. That's nothing. That's not even a whole week. But that fly lives out its entire life. And it's a lot smaller than us.
Okay.
So 5 days for a fly could feel like 100 years in comparison. 5 days for us could feel like 100 years to a fly. You see?
Yeah, I see. I know it's gonna be like a maybe a dumb question, but so it's like space time like a form of matter? If I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say.
That is a very good question, actually. So, let's see. Okay. Um, Originally, wavelengths like uh, natural light, radio waves, that kind of stuff was considered to just exist and not really have any form or mass or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as our knowledge of physics and our technology has increased, we have been able to um, create instruments that have detected that, uh, like radio waves, radiation, everything does have some sort of mass. It's just that wavelengths are very good at traveling through near vacuum. Because if you have like a cell tower,
Yeah.
it's putting out radio waves. And they just keep going and going and going until they get bigger, bigger, bigger. But if you got a massive tree in the way, then what happens is there's a dead zone. And then that dead zone keeps on carrying because this part is not able to go past the tree. Same thing with structures.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why when you're in the grocery aisle at Walmart, you do cell phone signal because you got the AC machines, the AC vents, you got a bunch of steel girders, and you have a lot of cold air, which slows down waves. That's why your internet is a lot better on hot days.
Makes sense.
And you have a lot of highly absorbent materials, such as you got milk, you got fruits and vegetables, you got frozen vegetables and frozen meat, which has a bunch of water in it, which water is notorious for slowing down waves. Like, um, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called. It's one of my favorite things in beginner physics and whatnot. It's diffraction. So you have a glass of water that's filled up halfway with water,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put like I don't know, like give me a random item.
Marble.
I don't think that'll work. Give me a different item.
Uh, a cap, like a bottle cap.
I need a big item.
Oh, big item. Okay, then how about a rock?
Okay. So on one side of the glass, you got the rock. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On this side of the glass, you got your eyeball.
Mhm.
Through here, where there's no water, you see the rock plain as day.
Mhm.
But then move down to where the water is at, and all of a sudden, the rock seems to have moved underneath the water. But above the water, it's still at the same position. That's because as the light hits the water, it goes from going at normal speed to going extremely slow.
Mhm.
So as the wave slows down, it gets longer.
That's actually cool.
Yeah. So say that's white light,
Mhm.
okay? Underwater, this is white light,
Mhm.
which makes things seem stretched. So if we have a box under normal circumstances, this looks like a box.
Mhm.
But once its wavelengths get stretched, it's no longer a box. It's a rectangle.
Okay. Good analogy.
Yeah. Same thing happens with time. Same thing happens in space.
Now, I got another question
Yeah.
though. Does space-time exist in the quantum realm?
Yes.
Right?
That is actually where most of its functioning takes place.
Hmm.
Because going back to quantum entanglement, with everything being connected, once you have a change of anything, once anything changes,
Mhm.
it's like on the broader spectrum, being um, with the broad spectrum being like interstellar sized
Mhm.
things, they don't see anything happening. But to the smaller stuff, they are more able to perceive what's going on. Kind of like in a game you're when something is out of your render distance.
Okay.
So the smaller you get, the better you can see what's going on. Like zooming in. And you take the eraser, and you can see perfectly inside. But once you zoom back out, it just looks like a white dot again.
Okay. So, since space and time are like basically intertwined, does gravity affect the time? And gravity affect time in a sense?
Yeah, that goes with that planet analogy.
Yeah. Okay.
The more gravity you have, the more speed it has, the more inertia,
Hmm.
so it warps your perspective. So, going back to the speed of light, the closer you get to speed of light, the more your object weighs. They don't
Okay.
really understand the physics of that, of why it appears to weigh more. That's just how they kind of make sense of it. Just try to make it make sense. So, when your weight goes up, the amount of force needed to propel that thing also increases.
Hmm.
And because in space you have all these tiny, tiny particles called quarks, which is the things that atoms are made of, you're going slow, they're not an issue. But the faster you go, the more you run into.
Okay.
It's like driving on a rainy day. The faster you're going, the more rain hits your car, the less you can see. It's kind of like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So your 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 path will end up looking like that. So you need even more power to overcome what you're colliding with. And these little quarks can be seen as the intersecting points of the mesh of space. Put more pressure on it, need more power to push against it. Until eventually you can't push anymore.
Hmm. Do you have another topic
No, I think that's all I had for this one. I was
for this one?
gonna, I was gonna try and do like quantum stuff in the next one, because if you can wrap your head around this kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or if you could like at least understand a little bit.
Oh yeah, I understand. I don't know if you're gonna ask this in the video, but I like try to ask like questions that are like maybe like people who don't really understand it that well can like so you can like dumb it down a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted you here.
Yeah. Because I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah,
I like trying to ask clean questions that are like maybe like some people wouldn't who didn't understand it would like maybe understand it better.
yeah, because like with me being somebody who has a very deep understanding of this kind of stuff, um, I think all but two questions you asked were questions I would not have asked.
Oh, which ones?
Um, the the gravity one I would have asked about, and the basically the perception, because I like to get people's input on their own perspective of stuff.
Hmm.
So naturally, I would have asked about that. But yeah, the rest of that I just wouldn't have think to ask because I already understand it. You know?
a first time commentator, so I'll be better at it. Don't worry.
No, you did fine. You're good.
Like, I was gonna say you should make a video on like quantum like things. Like I always find that stuff interesting.
Yeah. Well, with that new Ant-Man movie coming out, it's probably gonna get people start googling that kind of shit. Trying to get an explanation. And I can only hope that you're asked that we're covering the right kind of stuff that people are going to be thinking.
Yeah,
And maybe after it comes out or after I watch it, um,
I'll probably watch it too, just to help input some things in the video. I
yeah.
haven't watched it,
But yeah,
so
I do like the way we set this up because a lot of videos explaining this kind of stuff, they'll write out a script,
hmm
and usually the people writing out this script are people who have already studied the subject.
hmm
Like
yeah,
I I would do that for like explaining um like math stuff that you would see in middle school, high school, that kind of stuff. You know,
yeah,
because once you're at high school, you already understand that. But stuff like this, I think it's much better to have another person in the video to help bring input, make sure that you have all your bases covered.
yeah. Cause like what I would like, hold on. Yeah, what I would do something like if I'm making videos like these, like it's kind of hard to like. It's not really hard, but it's like making a full video about it and like getting every topic and question is like kind of hard in a sense. So like what I would do is like if I'm talking about how to learn to ride a bike or something, I'll put like first steps in like to understanding how to ride a bike, and then like in every like topic, you just ask a bunch of questions. Like we're saying like, okay, so this is a video how to ride a bike. First topic is how to like learn balance,
Hmm.
and then you'd be like, okay, well, if you want to learn balance, you gotta do this and this and that. And once you get the balance down, you go to, okay, so how do I balance and ride it at the same time? And then you go, okay, well, you can go when you're riding, do this and this and that, something like that. Not like
Yeah, yeah,
exact.
yeah,
You try to get, you know what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
And that way, you can every time you go into the topic, you can like break it down, and then you could really get a good understanding of it.
yeah. And then the way I would tackle that is first explaining what a bike is, its history, and how it
Mhm.
works.
Yeah,
Just like,
exactly. You got what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. Like there needs to be a method to doing things, and you can't just slap on the same method to everything. Because if you're doing research online for a script, there's gonna be stuff on there that not everybody's gonna understand.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to
Yeah,
account for that.
that's what I'm there for, asking those questions that some people won't understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't mind helping you with these videos. I just find the videos interesting.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of
Um,
course,
uh,
man.
uh, with having this sunk in a little bit, do you have any more questions before we end?
I mean, maybe you could end it off for like fully like just explaining what space time is at the same time, like your definition. Like that'd be like a so like be like at the end, no, not like be like so in theory, space time is blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting idea. Um,
You've already answered all my questions that I can think of.
yeah. Um, I've never. I don't think I've ever defined space time for myself. Um, there was a an interview with David Tennant,
Hmm.
who was one of the actors who played the Doctor in Doctor Who, and he said something that was like extremely like you can't get simpler than this when it comes to space time. And it was space is like a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. And this video is just like kind of breaking that down into into what he means by that, you know?
Hmm. So what's your next video gonna be about?
Um, I might do quantum tunneling. That's always a fun subject.
I'll gladly be here for it.
Ick.
Love quantum tunneling or anything quantum. I just find that those subjects interesting.
Yeah, it's such a new form of science too. Like it's only like a decade old at the most. Now there's still a lot to discover, and we've already discovered so much. You know, like somebody recently discovered tachyons, which are so far the smallest thing we have been able to observe with our quantum telescopes. Not telescopes, microscopes, quantum microscopes. That is as far down as we have gotten, and I still feel like there's so much more to go.
Oh, for sure, bro.
Yeah, because we don't even know what tachyons do. You know, for all we know, that could be the reason that time exists. You know, it could be why everything does what it does. That's what people thought when they discovered quarks. You know, they thought we finally understand everything once we finally are able to study these. And upon further inspection, there's something even smaller than that. You know, so
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks for doing with me.
Yeah, of course, bro. Anytime. I like doing videos like these anyways.
Yeah, they're real fun doing this kind of stuff.
Um, did you end the thing already? Or
Oh no, I was about to end it here.
okay.
All right.
Now you just have to decide what music to put in the background. But it
Yeah,
could be like I don't know, or maybe like it doesn't have that music, but maybe what's it called?
some sort of ambiance.
Like yeah, it could be quiet in certain parts of the video. It doesn't have to be in the full video
Yeah, yeah,
to make it more like interesting, scary.
yeah,
But
yeah. I could put in the natural frequency of Saturn. That's a fun sound.
we're like, what's that in the background? Like it sounds nice.
Yeah, and then they look in the description. That's Saturn.